Hello. It's a little brighter in here. Studios of Dylan Knows for a particular reason, but I'll get that in a second. But this is a brand new episode of Dylan Knows, episode 489, Serial Killer Whales, or as I was going to call it, Repo Cars. But both of that stuff, we have stories to deal with both of those today. We've also got some deaths, a lot of deaths this time. We've got some trailers. We've got some production starts. We've got awards. More awards we got to give out. We got more food. Florida Man makes a couple of appearances in this one. And all kinds of fun stuff here. Some science stuff, anniversaries, snow, jelly beans, cocaine bear. I'm sure there's some sort of sex in here somewhere. And we're going to try a brand new soda. This is part of the Coca-Cola creations. This is Move. Haven't heard much about it, but it is out just recently. So let's give it a whirl here real quick. This is not the sugar-free one, so this is the regular one. Has a weird scent. Hard to describe what the scent is. Ew. It's almost got it's like a coconut, or what is that other? No, it tastes like coconut or suntan lotion. So it's got to be some kind of tropical, but that's not fruit though. It tastes like coconut. So yeah, it's like coconut Coke. I'm not a big fan of coconut. I'm gonna finish drinking it. It's okay. It's a very interesting aftertaste. It said it tastes like suntan lotion. It, it feels like I'm drinking suntan lotion, but it's very coconutty flavor. So I think it's a coconut flavored sort of thing. So there you go. Another new tasting of a new soda. Yeah, definitely not going to get that, but yeah, it's definitely some sort of coconut flavor. Now I got to get a Peepsy before it goes away for Easter, because Easter is about a month away. So I need to kind of get that Peepsy here because I really want to try that. Now, to give the reason why I have the lights on, those who've been watching my show know that I've had an issue with mice, and I still have a little issue with mice, even though they haven't been around as much. But I've got some good traps that work, but I hate the paranoia that comes with having mice in the house. You don't know where they are. If they are, you can hear them, but you can't always see them. And some just can't hear them, but you kind of know that they're just sort of there. Anyway, I put some traps out the other night, and nothing took. So I thought I heard something, but nothing took. So excuse me if I look around, I'm paranoid about. So I brought them down here. I put them in that room right back there, right behind the flamingo. It's our bathroom down here. And put them up on a chair so they're up high, whatever. And thought that if we heard or saw them again, I would put them back out again. They still have the peanut butter in them. They're all set to go. Eventually, I would probably need to throw them out. But the other night, I was upstairs, I think by myself, when I heard a loud commotion down here. And I was like, that's weird. So I cautiously came down here and went and checked the traps, and one of the traps was gone. And I couldn't find it for the life of me for the longest time, but then I saw it. A mouse had gotten into the trap down here and gotten killed, and it had jumped, because it's one of those that when it comes down, it jumps sort of, and it jumped off the chair and hit the bike that's in the bathroom right there, and it's sort of stuck between that. It's been there for a couple of days now. I should probably pull that out there before it gets to be too decaying, though it doesn't smell like any death down here, but maybe I'm just leaving that as a warning. But they don't like the light, so that's why I'm keeping the light on down here, because I'm just afraid of when mice run around down here. It's such a awful feeling, and it's also, I saw a millipede or something like that walking around on my table here earlier. So that the house needs to be cleaned, and we have all this stuff everywhere, and we don't have the desire for it. We never have. So we'll see. But that's why the lights are on. And actually, it's not too bad. I kind of like it with the lights on, and maybe we'll keep up with that a little bit. My wife's birthday was on Friday. We took her to the Melting Pot, which is, for those who don't know what the Melting Pot is, a fondue restaurant where you get multiple courses. You get a cheese course to begin with, where you get to choose from about 6 different cheeses, and you pick one, and then you dip vegetables, apples, bread, pretzel bread, stuff like that into the cheese, and then you have your salad, which you don't dip in anything. It's just a regular salad. They have like 3 or 4 different types of those. And then they have the main course, which is you choose what kind of oil you cook your food in. And then you choose what kind of proteins you want. They've got different styles. They've got steak and chicken and pork and seafood and vegetables. And everything under the sun. And it's all raw. And then you put them on skewers and you put them into the boiling oil for 2 to 5 minutes. They have the scale of what you need to do for whatever you order on the menu. So you have that there. And then you eat it. And then it ends with a dessert where you get to choose from 5 or 6 different types of melted chocolates. And you get like chocolate covered marshmallows and Rice Krispie treats and brownies and vanilla brownie, whatever those are called. I forget what they're called. And other types of, some other fruit, strawberries and some other stuff in there. And then you dip that in your chocolate and there it is. It's a bit pricey, but it's very good for like anniversaries or birthdays or dates, or my wife went there for her bachelorette party once. Valentine's Day is another good one to go for. They've got all kinds of stuff. But I said it's pricey, particularly for 4 people. It's expensive. 2 people, they have a special deal, which won't cost as much. You also get wine and soda and stuff like that. And the atmosphere is kind of nice. It's in the middle of Towson, which is where I grew up. So and it's been there for a while. I remember going there when my wife and I first started dating. So she's always like that. So and then I got her some books and stuff like that, and that was really all she wanted. And then we're going to go to her folks' house tomorrow, Sunday, since it's earlier than I usually do my show. So we're going to go to her folks' house for that, and then we go back to regular work week. Now, next weekend is going to be interesting because next weekend is Oscar weekend. It's also, we turn our clocks ahead an hour. So I will be doing 2 episodes next weekend. One will be my Oscar Picks show, and one will be my regular Dylan Knows show. So I think at this point, I'm probably going to do both on Saturday because my wife is going to be away most of the day Saturday. So I'll be able to be down here and do that stuff for that real quick. In the afternoon, I'll probably do the Oscar picks. And then in the evening, I'll probably do my regular show. So that's what's going on next weekend. So that's good. I was going to do a Mandalorian review, but I have not seen the Mandalorian 3rd season episode 1 yet. I don't know when we're going to, because we're going to be as I said, my in-laws all day tomorrow. So maybe not until Monday. Now at the latest, I'm going to see the newest episode of that. So hopefully that went really well. So that's what's going on here. So let's move on here and let's see if I can. Let's see. Last week's episode was about just over an hour long. It really tastes like it's coconut. Let's see if I can match that. So I guess the first thing I'll do is give you the reasons for the titles, both titles I gave you at the beginning of the show. Serial Killer Whales. Interesting story came across the desk today, actually. I saw it today. 2 killer whales went on a killing spree, attacking and killing at least 17 broad war 7-gill sharks in a single day, eating only their livers, and left the bodies to rot up on shore. So in a span of 1 day, 2 killer whales attacked 17 sharks and just ate their livers with some fava beans and a nice Chianti, and left the rest of the body to wash up on shore. That's definitely serial killer whale sort of stylings there. That's kind of effed up, really. killer whales are messed up anyway. But damn, son, 17 sharks in one day, and you just ate their livers. That's messed up, man. The other one is Ford has patented a car that can repo itself. Repossess is short for repo. Can repossess itself, meaning basically if you buy a car and you don't pay for it, like you get the credit and you get your payments done, and then you take the car home, and then you just don't pay your payments. After a little while, the car dealership is going to be like, "What the hell are you doing, man? You owe us the money for this car. You know, this credit doesn't mean that you don't have to pay it back. That means you have to pay that back. That's the reason why we gave it to you, so you can have the car. We know you don't have the money, all $13,000 on you right at that moment, so we put it in these easily monthly installments with a high rate of whatever you call that, and then you pay that off every month, and eventually you'll pay off your car." But there are people who just don't. They refuse to pay and think they're never going to get caught or whatever. And after a while, they do send repo men after them, and they come, and they don't do it when you're in the car. Usually they sneak up on you, like they know where the car is registered, so they can case the joint. When you go to bed, whatever, they break in the car, or they have the spare keys from the dealership. They just jump into your car and they take it back. Or they put a boot on it and they get the cops to to impound it, and then they get the car back to the dealership. It's not a good thing not to pay for your car stuff. But now you don't have to worry about having that happen if someone is not paying for their car and it needs to be repossessed. The car itself will have some sort of programming or whatever that'll send it back to the dealership. So I wonder if they would do it if the driver was still inside. That'd be kind of interesting about that. Don't really talk about hockey too much, but here's some hockey news for you, which is history was made this weekend in the NHL, when for the first time ever in NHL history, two brothers who play on opposing teams were traded for each other. So one team sent one brother to the other brother's team for the other brother to come to this team. So they just switched teams. The brothers just switched teams. So that's kind of funny that happened. So history was made in the NHL doing that. So that's crazy. I guess it's sort of a reminder of summer. It's like a pina colada almost. It's also pina colada flavor too. It's like a pina colada, pineapple, coconut sort of suntan lotion flavor. Jack Kesey, who I don't know much about, has been cast as the new Hellboy in the Crooked Man adaptation that Michael Golden or Christopher Golden and Mike Mignola are writing. This movie just got announced and is moving faster than the speed of light. They also cast Jefferson White and Adeline Rudolph, so we'll see how that goes. I'm getting a little interested in this one. Could be interesting. Jason Alexander, George from Seinfeld, has been cast to star in a movie called Stealing Pulp Fiction, about a lowly criminal who decides to steal a pristine 35 millimeter version of the said Quentin Tarantino movie, Pulp Fiction. Hellraiser actor Doug Bradley has been cast in the role of a Batman icon. Joe Chill, the guy who killed Bruce Wayne's parents that turned him to the side of Batman. Doug Bradley will be portraying Joe Chill in the new Gotham Knights series. Zachary Levi, who plays Shazam and has put his foot in his mouth about some political stuff, we're not going to do that right now, has pitched a Deceased movie. Now, Deceased is Tom Taylor, Tom Taylor's an Australian writer who's written a bunch of stuff for DC and is one of their top tier writers. He has written a series called Deceased about, I think it's either vampires or zombies or whatever that attack and destroy the DC universe, and the DC universe bad guys and good guys and stuff like that have to team up together to try to stop it. And, they kill like gods and monsters, and they still have their powers and stuff like that. So it's interesting. But he has pitched an idea for a DC movie coming up. Should be an adaptation of Deceased, which could be kind of interesting if done properly. Yes, it tastes very pina colada-ish. Apple Jacks Pop-Tarts, actually. That sounds actually kind of interesting because I like the flavor of Apple Jacks. But that is a new flavor of Pop-Tarts coming out soon. They say it should be out now. Have not seen it, but I will keep an eye out for it. But yes, Apple Jacks Pop-Tarts. Does that mean that Apple Jacks is going to be the new flavor du jour? Cinnamon Toast Crunch was it for the longest time. Are we going to get Apple Jacks now? We shall see. A giant dog is obsessed with wearing Crocs. There's a picture of this dog that just loves wearing Crocs on his feet, so he wears them all over the place. So I guess either made dog-style ones or he borrows his owner's ones. I don't know, but he is obsessed with wearing Crocs. Aaron Taylor Johnson, who played Quicksilver in Avengers Age of Ultron and was Kick-Ass and is going to be Kraven in the Kraven the Hunter thing movie coming up soon, and is in talks to play James Bond, even though not in talks, but is rumored to be one of the front runners for the new James Bond, because apparently he is British, because I didn't think he was, but then I heard him on an interview, and yes, he's very British. He has been cast in the Nosferatu remake that has currently started shooting this week. So he joins Willem Dafoe and a bunch of other people in that remake of Nosferatu, which could be pretty interesting. Clancy Brown, a wonderful character actor, has joined the cast of The Penguin, which also is getting ready to start shooting here soon with Colin Farrell as Salvatore Maroni, who is one of the mob bosses of Gotham. So it looks like that this Penguin TV show is going to be a mob boss sort of mafia sort of story, which could be, I guess, kind of interesting, I suppose. Another movie that's been getting a lot of buzz lately is the new Alien movie that's going to be getting ready to start filming here real soon. Also, they've already cast Isabella Marcel, who played Dora in the live-action Dora movie, Kaylee Spencer, Eileen Wu, Spike Ferrer, Archie Renee, and David Jansen have all been cast in the new Alien movie. So it's a lot of people that it's younger actors, ones I really don't know all that much about. I couldn't even get their names pronounced properly, but that's an interesting sort of take about what they're going to be doing and what this Alien movie is going to be like. So it's kind of intriguing as well. Florida Man's on here twice. And they're actually not in too bad of a shape. A Florida man finds a massive clam on the beach and decides that he's going to make himself a award-winning, stellar, outstanding clam chowder. But just he's about to cut it down, someone, or I didn't really read the whole story, but someone or something explained to him, no, this is a 200-year-old clam. I would probably not cut it up and eat it. I would probably put it on display or whatever, but it's a 200-year-old clam. Kind of interesting. 200 years. Think about that. Look at 2023, 1823 is when this clam was born. 1823. He lived through the Civil War, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the moon landing, the Great Depression, the two turns of the century. Crazy 200-year-old clam. Amazing. And it would be interesting if it was going to be a show about all the weird stuff that happens in Florida. Maybe it is, but there is going to be a new Netflix show. Actually, Netflix is all over the place in this tonight's episode because they announced a lot of stuff this week. They are doing a TV series called Florida Man. It looks like a sort of one of those action sort of sexy sort of things about a guy who looks like he's some sort of mob guy or not or whatever. He grew up in Florida and doesn't want to go back there, but is forced to go back there. And there's lots of the weird Florida man stuff that's happening. And there's sexy women and there's sex and all kinds of stuff. I don't know. So it's an interesting trailer. So you might want to check that out. I did watch it. It was just, it's hard to explain what it's about. If you believe that. The XFL, which is going on now after the NFL is over, is still in the news, even though they're not doing as well in the ratings. But this is kind of interesting. A XFL quarterback for one of the teams, I can't remember, Jacksonville's team or whatever, got released from his team because he was leaking plays to the opposing quarterback about what his team was going to do, either defensively or whatever. So basically, he was a traitor to his team, and he got released. So I don't know what that end game is. Either he did not want to play in the XFL, did not want to play in the football at all, or did not like the team he was on and wanted to get out. I don't know exactly sure what his motivation for that is, but he did get released, and we'll see what happens. A couple of deaths on this page, then we'll get into some awards here. Steve Mackey, a bass guitarist for the band Pulp, died at the age of 56. And I think the big one this week is Tom Sizemore, who we knew has been kind of ill lately, died of a brain aneurysm yesterday, I believe. He's an actor. He was 61 years old, been in a bunch of top-tier movies. One of my favorites, Heart and Souls, Strange Days, Red Planet, The Relic, Saving Private Ryan, Born on the 4th of July, Heat, True Romance, Passenger 57, Natural Born Killers, Black Hawk Down, Wyatt Earp. He was also in the Twin Peaks The Return series as well, and did some television stuff, but he also had problems with drugs, and he abused the Heidi, whatever that prostitute that was his girlfriend for a while. He abused her and had some other abuse scandals pop up on him as well. So he wasn't the nicest person in the world, but he was an actor that was in a ton of stuff, and you would know who he was when you saw him. He was a pretty good actor. He had issues with addiction and abuse. So he passed away this week. All right. Last week, I gave you when I did the show, the SAG Awards were going on. So as I hadn't seen who had won anything, so I gave you my predictions, who was going to win. And then the next morning, I woke up and read who the winners were, and I actually was pretty close on a bunch of them. I'm not going to play back who all the ones that I said. But here is the list of the winners for the SAG Awards, which is the Screen Actors Guild. So it's the actors who are voting on these. Okay. Motion Picture Cast. The winner was Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I think I picked that one. Male actor in a leading role, motion picture, Brendan Fraser, The Whale. I had it up in the air for that, but he won for The Whale, which definitely increases his stock for the Oscars. Female actor in a leading role, Michelle Yeoh, Everything Everywhere All at Once, beat Cate Blanchett, which is interesting, who has been considered to be the front runner. So now we have a two-tier game because Michelle Yeoh's won a bunch of stuff over the last few weeks. So we'll see. Male actor supporting role, this guy's got it locked up. Ke Huy Quan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. He's won everything. I don't think the only thing I think the only one he didn't win was for the BAFTAs, but that's because they're British and they don't like foreign people probably. But no, it's because the movie wasn't British, so that's why they gave it to, I think, Barry Keoghan for the Banshees of Inisherin. But the winner, who is pretty much the front runner, is going to be Ke Huy Quan, won for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and he deserves it because he's a great role in that. Female actor supporting role, motion picture. This one threw me off because I thought Angela Bassett was going to win this one hands down. But surprise, Jamie Lee Curtis actually won for Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's pretty cool. Stunt ensemble in a motion picture. The winner was Top Gun Maverick. I don't think I picked that one. I think I picked Batman or the Black Panther Wakanda. Television drama series ensemble. The winner was The White Lotus. I think I picked Severance for that, but oh well. Comedy series ensemble, Abbott Elementary. I picked that one. Male actor in a television movie or limited series. Winner, Sam Elliott, 1883. I don't think I picked that one. I think I picked Evan Peters, but I'm surprised by that. Female actor in a television movie or limited series. Jessica Chastain for George and Tammy. I did not pick that either, I don't think. Male actor in a drama series. The winner was Jason Bateman for Ozark. I didn't pick that one either. Female actor in a drama series. Winner is Jennifer Coolidge, The White Lotus. I did pick that one. Male actor in a comedy series. The winner was Jeremy Allen White, The Bear. I did pick that one. Female actor in a comedy series. Jean Smart for Hacks. I think I picked that one. Stunt ensemble in a TV series. The winner was Stranger Things. Excellent. So that's it for all the SAG awards. So everywhere all at once has been making a statement for itself. And Key looks like he's the front runner and is the dead cert for supporting actor. But now with Michelle Yeoh winning a bunch of these Best Actress awards, we have to sort of neck and neck with Cate Blanchett. So we're gonna have to take a look at that. So we'll see what happens there. Now the next one. We've got is the Spirit Awards, which are like the Indie Awards, which is weird because the Spirit Awards are usually the day before the Oscars. This time it was a week before the Oscars. Here we go. Where's your list? Okay. So this is the Spirit Awards, which is more of an independent sort of it is the Independent Academy Awards. I'll give you an example. If I give you the winner, you probably figure it out there for my take. But here's the nominees for the Best Feature: were Bones and All, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Our Father the Devil, Tar, and Women Talking. So obviously there's no Avatar, no Top Gun, and no Fablemans and all that stuff. So this is all independent stuff. So obviously Everything Everywhere All at Once won because it is the hottest indie out there. And it is an indie. A24 is the production company of it. Best Director, of course, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinhardt for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Again, they're making a statement over Steven Spielberg. Again, Spielberg wasn't nominated, so this is all, oh, come on. So those are actually the only two that, I gotta find a better list. So give me a second here. Better list here. Variety's not good. See, I could have sworn I just saw something run by here. Just want Paranoid. Hollywood Reporter, maybe this will be better. Okay. Best First Feature, the winner was After Sun. The John Cassavetes Award, given to the best feature made for under $1 million. The winner was The Cathedral. Best directors were Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinhardt for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Best screenplay was Daniel Kwan, Daniel Scheinhardt for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Best first screenplay was John Patton Ford for Emily the Criminal. Best lead performance was Michelle Yeoh, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Best supporting performance was they have men and women, so it's just supporting performance, men and women combined. So they don't separate them. Ki Hui Kwan won for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Best breakthrough performance, Stephanie Hsu for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Best cinematography, Florian Hofmeister for Tar. Best editing, Paul Rogers for Everything Everywhere All at Once. That's another should be a dead cert for the Oscars. The Robert Altman Award is given to one film's director, casting director, and ensemble cast. The winner was Women Talking, directed by Sarah Polley. Best documentary was All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. Best international film was Joyland from Pakistan, USA. The Producers Award, presented by Bullet Frontier Whiskey, went to Liz Cardenas. Went to Tori Lenowski. The Someone to Watch Award went to Nikyatu Jusu for Nanny. The Truer Than Fiction Award presented to an emerging director of nonfiction features who has not yet received significant recognition. Reed Davenport for I Didn't See You There. Best New Non-Scripted or Documentary Series, The Rehearsal. Best New Scripted Series, The Bear. Best lead performance in a new scripted series, Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary. Best supporting performance in a new scripted service, Ayo Edebiri for The Bear. Best ensemble cast in a new scripted series. I guess it's Pachinko, I guess. So yeah, Pachinko, I guess, is the only one that won it. So those are your awards for the Spirit Awards. So there you go. So Everything Everywhere All at Once is really making a play for really having a big day at the Oscars, which is going to make me think twice about the stuff. Stuff that seemed like dead certs months ago now seem like not so clear. So we'll see. We do have another award thing, but we'll get to that later in the show. A giant lacewing, which is a fly, a flying insect that belongs to a family of insects that predate the dinosaurs, was found on the side of a Walmart in Arkansas. This giant lacewing flying insect has not been seen in Arkansas for 50 years. So that's kind of an interesting sort of story there. Pizza flavored chicken snackers is a new thing. So you get your little chicken things, chicken snackers that are pizza flavored. I'm not sure what I think about chicken flavored or pizza flavored chicken. I mean, I guess it could be okay. Portlandia co-creator Jonathan Kreisel is in talks to direct Detective Pikachu 2. A lot of talk have been picked up a little bit about doing Detective Pikachu 2. See, again, another movement over there, but I don't see anything. So, scientists found a dinosaur face complete with skin. That's kind of creepy, but okay. Wendell Pierce, Cam Patterson join Connie Preston in Elsbeth, which is the Good Wife spinoff of the show, The Good Wife. The National Park Service says never push a slower friend down to escape a bear attack. Now, that actually had to be said in an official national park notice that came out that says don't push your slower friends in front of a bear in order to get away from a bear who's chasing you. Teaser poster for Black Knight, a new Netflix series coming soon. Looks sort of like a post-apocalyptic sort of thing. I don't know much about it, so I don't know. The luscious Sydney Sweeney from Euphoria is going to be playing the second Spider-Woman in the Madam Web movie coming out soon. She was not the original Jessica Drew. I forget the name of the second one, but the second Spider-Woman was in the original Secret Wars and was the influence for Spider-Man's black and white costume that turned out to be Venom eventually. But yes, the luscious, oh so luscious Sydney Sweeney will be playing the second Spider-Woman, and I can't wait to see her in that outfit. Oh, God. So very nice. Sony lands the rights to My Ex-Friend's Wedding with Erica Disbeck, Chloe Finneran, Amanda Seyfried, and Megan Stalter. Ashley Park, one of the original Broadway cast members of the Mean Girls musical, has joined the cast of the Mean Girls musical movie that is being made. We're going to have a little more stories about that here in a little bit, too. Make sure there's time on that. We got a bunch on the next page, I believe. Porsche is going public. Now, my friend Gary, who will watch this show eventually, he's not watching it now, obviously. Nobody's watching it right now, but he will watch it eventually, is a huge Porsche fan, and they are going public very soon. So you'll be able to own a piece of Porsche very soon. So, Gary, you should totally do that. James Wan's Atomic Monster production company has bought the rights to develop the noir graphic novel The Good Asian into a TV series, a streaming series, I'm assuming. Don't know much about that, but a noir graphic novel with an Asian lead actor is interesting, and James Wan producing it, so it's got to be some sort of freaky sort of stuff. Steven Spielberg, in a surprise interview with Stephen Colbert, I believe, cites E.T. as the only movie of his that he will always watch. Rewatch rather. He very rarely rewatches any of his movies, but E.T. is the one exception. Okwari Okpakwasli, who was in the Agatha Disney Plus TV show, has also now joined the cast of The Exorcist. That cast is building a huge little army there. Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar's husband. And those who don't know me, Sarah Michelle Gellar is one of my celebrity crushes, I should say. And I like Freddie Prinze Jr. too, so I'm glad they're married, but that's besides the point. Anyway, Freddie Prinze Jr., who does have a connection to the Star Wars world, saying that Dave Filoni, who is the co-creator, producer, director of the Clone Wars and has done stuff for The Mandalorian, stuff like that, directed the hallway sequence at the end of Rogue One where Darth Vader takes out all the rebels. I don't know how true that is. That seems something kind of odd that a different director would come in and direct a sequence of a movie that has already been made. Though, to be fair, it does seem like a sequence that was just sort of added to the film because the film itself doesn't really focus that much on that. So it's very possible. Here's something I never thought I would see. The mythological creature Medusa, the woman that has the snakes for her hairs and turns men to stone. Not her fault because Poseidon is a dick. Medusa was a lover of Poseidon's, and eventually she either wanted to leave him or he wanted to leave her or whatever. And so he turned her into this monster for whatever reason, because he's a dick, I guess. Anyway, she's considered evil, even though she really isn't. But she is considered, and that fucking Perseus killed her in the Clash of the Titans and in the regular myths as well. Anyway, we are going to be getting from Amazon, because Amazon's also going crazy with their movies. They are going to be making a movie where Medusa is a hero, which, again, as I said, not her fault the way she is, and she's not evil, but you do not associate Medusa with being a superhero. Not superhero, but a hero in general, and is going to save the world, as it were, in this Amazon film coming up soon. So that might be intriguing to take a look at. So again, probably out till later this year or not till next year, but when the trailer stuff start coming out, you'll definitely hear it first here on Dylan Knows. Creed 3 looks like it's probably going to win the box office this week, has been getting really good reviews. Michael B. Jordan reprises his role as Adonis Creed, Apollo Creed's son, who in the first two ones was being trained with Rocky Balboa himself, Sylvester Stallone, and he directed those two, I believe. But Sylvester Stallone wanted nothing to do with the third one, so he left. But Michael B. Jordan's like, hey, I want to do this, and I want to direct. Now, we also got the actor, I forget the actor's name right now, Jonathan Majors, that's what it is, who plays Kang, is also the bad guy in the Creed 3. It is a boxing movie. But what's interesting about this is Michael B. Jordan is a director, and Michael B. Jordan is obsessed with anime, has always been obsessed with anime, going back to interviews he did for Black Panther, stuff like that. He always talked about his obsession with anime. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with obsession with anime. And in order to show off his obsession with anime, he does a number of homages to anime in Creed 3. And again, it's getting huge reviews. It says it's the best reviewed of the three Creed movies, and it's probably going to end up being the most successful of them. But Now, Michael B. Jordan does have this, as I said, obsession with anime, and he is homaging a lot of stuff from that. And that alone might be a reason just to check it out as well, to see what he does with that. And then you might start thinking about that. If it looks pretty good, I know Taika Waititi's been trying to build this up for a while, but he's got himself busy. Why don't you let Michael B. Jordan have a crack at directing Akira? Just a thought. Bossy Afia will be launching the first black comic book company, a black-run, black-produced comic book company producing black superheroes and black comic books and stuff like that, and is hoping to create a new future for black comic books out there. So that could be kind of intriguing to look at. DC's Milestone has tried to do that a number of times, and they've been fairly successful with a lot of it, but this could be something really good. A long time ago, back when Facebook first started, and I was at the old building where I work. I've been at this job that I'm at now for almost 16 years. And this is the second building we've been in. The first one we were in from 2007 to 2011. And during that time, Kentucky Fried Chicken created something called the Double Down Sandwich, which instead of bread, you have 2 slices of chicken breast, and then you got the stuff in the sandwich in between those 2 things of chicken. It was an interesting, intriguing thing, and I think I remember putting a Facebook tweet out there saying wants to try the double down thing. I never did because I think there's like mustard or something added to it. Just like that, there's something about it just doesn't seem right, you know. But that was way back, as I said, somewhere between 2007 and 2011, probably closer around 2009, 2010, because that's when Facebook started to really come into view here. It's back. KFC has announced that they will be bringing back the Double Down Sandwich with 2 chicken breasts as the bread. So, okay. One of the derpiest Pokemon out there, and one of the cutest ones as well, if you like it. Slowpoke will be getting his very own community day. Now, there's 2 versions of Slowpoke, and there's also multiple versions of his final evolution. So should be a very interesting community day coming up sometime this month. I don't know exact date on the community day. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Just turn on Pokemon Go. I'm waiting for that. A German ice cream parlor is offering a cricket flavored ice cream. Doesn't surprise me that much because insects have always been used for that sort of stuff all the time. Okay, news. All right, March 2023. Saturday, March 18th from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., we will have the Slowpoke Community Day. So, very cool. So, good on that. Grand Death Lotto. Not Grand Theft Auto, Grand Death Lotto will reteam Simu Liu and Aquafina with John Cena in a Paul Feige comedy for Amazon. So they'll be working together in this comedy, A Grand Death Lotto. And seeing Simu Liu and Aquafina back together is really cool, and have John Cena thrown in there as well. It's pretty interesting as well. Star Trek Discovery, the first Star Trek series that started when Paramount started their streaming service. It was one of the first shows that they did. We'll finally be calling it quits in 2024 with their 5th season. As you know, all Star Treks, the original Star Trek had a 5-year voyage. It only lasted 3 years. And then they had a ton of movies, 6 to be exact. And then the Next Generation, DS9, and Voyager all lasted 7 seasons. I think Enterprise only lasted maybe about 4 or 5 as well. So this is Star Trek Discovery has been a pretty good feather in Paramount's cap, but it's time that they call it quits. So their final season will be released next year, 2024. 5th season will be their last. Dynamite Comics, which has mostly been known for doing sexy sort of comics, your Red Sonjas and your Vampirellas and Barbarellas and Lady Deaths and stuff like that, has recently shown that they can also do other stuff and have been doing very well with it. They did the Gargoyles comic that became a huge seller for them. Then they brought in Darkwing Duck and made himself a cartoon as well, a comic book as well. They're releasing another. Oh yeah, Scar is going to be getting his own comic book from the Lion King that Dynamite's going to be doing, and now Maleficent will be getting her own comic book from Dynamite as well. Of course, it could be interesting to see if they decide to get some of their sexy cover artists, like their Joseph Michael Linsner, stuff like that, to draw sort of like Sex Maleficent. That'd be kind of funny to see if they do that. A Japanese company has created a wearable beanbag so you can lay down at any time you want. So basically, you're wearing this big-ass beanbag around your whole body, but if you decide you want to sit down, you sit down and you're on a beanbag. So interesting idea. Doesn't seem very feasible, but okay. A racing pigeon sold for $1.4 million in China. Why the hell would you spend $1.4 million for a racing pigeon? Don't ask, don't tell, I guess. Oh, The Thicket. Peter Dinklage and Juliette Lewis will be starring in Tubi's new dark Western thriller. Tubi's been getting involved in a lot of stuff recently there. I don't think I'm going to be an hour because I still got like 2 full pages and have to go. So we'll see. We have some anniversaries. Logan came out 6 years ago this week. Moonlighting, the TV show with Bruce Willis, came out 38 years ago this week. Repo Man. Repo Man's up all night, every night. Harry Dean Stanton, Emilio Estevez, a wonderful, outstanding film directed by Alex Cox. If you have not seen it, highly recommend watching Repo Man. It is a bizarre little film, but it's a lot of fun and it's really good. And it's 39 years old this week. And the only death I have on this page is former Baltimore Colt football player, and then became an owner of the Carolina Panther football team for the longest time. Jerry Richardson, he passed away this week at the age of 86. Oh, 3 whole pages left. So yeah, this is not going to be an hour long, because I'm at 48 minutes now. And definitely. Look at that. We're 48 minutes in, and we're 4 minutes away from it being Sunday, the 5th of February. A once hidden corridor has been identified in the giant pyramid of Giza. And I don't know where that's going to go, but it's always intriguing when you find new things in the giant pyramids and in any pyramids whatsoever. It's always interesting to see those kinds of things. Avatar, The Last Airbender, the only Avatar that really matters, the animated film, or TV show, I should say, will be having a movie, an animated movie that is going to be set decades after the show. So it'll be fun to see where the show ended, and then it'll be interesting to see where the characters are now decades later. I've mentioned this before, but we finally have a name for it and a poster. A documentary has been made about the making of the infamous Star Wars Christmas special called A Disturbance in the Force. And the first poster for it has come out. Don't know when the documentary itself will be out. There was no trailer accompanying it. It was just the poster for it. So I'm assuming that we'll be seeing a trailer soon and probably be out. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to bring it out sometime in May, particularly around either May the 4th or May 25th, which are both considered Star Wars days for the most part. One of my all-time favorite potato chips. Believe it or not, this is a really good flavor. And I think I still probably have an old bag somewhere up on my upstairs, these little cracks and crevices we have up in the kitchen, which is probably another reason why we have mice. Regardless, I probably still think there's a bag there remaining, but it's been years since I've seen these, but they're coming back and I'm excited. Lay's is re-releasing their cheesy garlic bread flavored potato chips, which I absolutely love and I'm extraordinarily excited for. So I will be getting bags of those once I see those up at my local grocery stores. Now, the funny is, the Haunted Mansion had the new remake from Disney Plus has a new trailer, and I thought I could see it, but I didn't. So, but it is out there. I'll have to check that out. But yes, if you want to check it out, the new Haunted Mansion trailer is out there, and they also have a new poster for it as well. Now, I already talked about Atomic Monster. James Wan is very close with Blum, and he was making stuff for Blumhouse. And then James Wan decided he wanted to open his own production company, but he's still friends with Blum. So two of them are combining. Blumhouse and Atomic Monsters will be co-producing the Dead by Daylight film based on the horror video game. So they'll be co-producing that. Prehistoric Planet has been renewed for a second season on Apple TV. That's one of those really neat ideas where it's treated like a documentary, like you see like the Planet Earth and stuff like that, where they go to certain parts of the world and they follow the animals who inhabit that area, and they have little stories that go interact. It's a great documentary, Planet Earth is. Now, Prehistoric Planet decided to take that and turn it into a CGI fest about dinosaurs. So basically, it's a documentary series about what it might have been like for dinosaurs from what scientists have known. It's not something like, hey, we're just going to throw whatever we want on the screen. No, using what scientists and paleontologists and all that have discovered and dug up and learned about the dinosaurs and their way they act and what they ate and drank and where they lived and stuff like that. They are filming these sort of documentaries like a Planet Earth, but it's with dinosaurs. So they'll follow a story about like a baby dinosaur who gets separated from his mom and then gets eaten by another dinosaur, that sort of thing. But you're cheering for it to escape and all this stuff. So it's been renewed for a second season on Apple TV. So good for that. Oh, that's right. Scream 6, I think, is due out this Friday, the 10th? Maybe? Yes, it is. I think it is. So Scream 6 is due out, I believe, on the 10th. And it's been getting, the early reviews of it have been saying it's the best since the first one, blah, blah, blah. But again, using this viral sort of way to promote the film, someone got in a little trouble. Now, you remember when the Smile movie came out and at baseball games or football games or whatever, they had these people standing behind home plate with the big giant smiles on their faces, and they were on the camera and people could see it and they can make comments about it, stuff like that. Well, I think they're trying to do something like that with Scream, but it didn't quite work as well. In Sonoma, part of wine country, which is beautiful, actually. I kind of like it a little bit better than Napa, to be honest. But I digress. Anyway, in Sonoma, there have been videos of somebody dressed in the Scream costume wandering around Sonoma, sort of similar to those clowns that arrived in 2016 that portended the arrival of a clown president from 2016 to 2020. But this one is portending the Scream movie, but people were freaked out by it. They called the police about it. So that's kind of interesting. And the fact that it happened in Sonoma, a place I've actually been before. And it's actually, as I said, it's gorgeous. I like it better than Napa, to be honest. It's wine country and it's all got all kinds of stuff. It's kind of interesting to see that kind of freaked out people. Scientists melted ancient ice, and a worm that had not been seen for centuries crawled out alive. Now, the main reason why I bring that up, that's weird and freaky. But the main reason I bring that out is the upcoming full moon, either today or tomorrow. It's not today because I looked out there. It's almost full, but not quite full. I think it's tomorrow or Monday we have the full moon. It's called the worm moon because this is the time where we are now in meteorological spring. Actual spring is until the 21st of March, obviously, but we are technically in spring. Temperatures are going to go up, stuff like that. Worms are going to start burrowing out of the ground and start, living their lives again after their hibernation during the winter. I wish the mice would go outside, not be in this house. Anyway, so I just find it kind of interesting the correlation between they found an ancient worm crawled out of this ice that they melted and the worm moon coming up. So, okay. A picture went viral of these 4 or 5 weird looking, there's no other word to describe it except creatures that seemed to be crawling out of the ocean. And they were weird looking. It took you a second. It's like, oh my God, they were like all like on all fours, and they were looked like plant-like stuff, and they looked like what you thought maybe some weird type of aliens might look like. And they were crawling like aliens that might have lived in the ocean or something like that. Like they were like seaweed that lives or something like that. So people were freaking out about that, and they saw it. I mean, it was like they wasn't moving, but there were pictures of it, and they were coming out of the ocean. They were standing so perfectly still. So people on the beach were watching that and say, "Oh my God, that's weird." Turns out, it's not. I don't know if it was a prank or it was art or whatever, but there was an older gentleman who lives in the area who had these old style sort of plants that he thought would be kind of funny to have them coming out of the ocean because they did look like kind of an alien sort of thing and freak people out. And he took pictures of them and posted it. So I don't know exactly the whole thing about that, but it's not real. For a second there, you look at that, it's like, oh my God, what the hell is that? Because you've seen sort of that type of stuff on some of these grainy videos and stuff like that. You're like, oh, that's kind of weird. It's coming from the ocean. Wouldn't surprise you. These sort of either not necessarily aliens, but creatures you've never seen from the ocean coming out, whatever. They're weird, but it was not. It was dead plants that a gentleman decided he wanted to have a little fun with, and I think that's clever. A cat spends 6 days alone in a Las Vegas casino before anyone realized, hey, why is there a cat in the casino? So don't know how it got there or what, if it's someone from, a cat from the neighborhoods that surround Vegas. Is it someone who brought their cat on vacation and it escaped? Don't know, but for 6 days, a cat was wandering a Las Vegas casino and nobody said a damn thing about it. I guess Vegas is so normal now, or so weird and strange things happen all the time, that it's normal for something like that to happen. It doesn't surprise you. I don't know much about this. I didn't watch a trailer. It looks like another indie film, but it has a really interesting name. Coffee Wars is a trailer about an independent film coming out. Looks like a young girl competing with someone else over coffee, it looks like. But I figured I'd just mention it just because I like the name Coffee Wars. Here's all the Mean Girls. So we've got a bunch of Mean Girl stuff here. So we're gonna hit all these right now. So I mentioned earlier that there's going to be a movie version of the Mean Girls musical. So bear with me. So Mean Girls was a movie that came out written by Tina Fey, starred Lindsay Lohan. Became hugely popular, and then it spawned a musical. And now the musical is going to get filmed as a movie, so it comes full circle. That happens all the time. Hairspray did it. The producers did it. So, and there's probably a bunch of other ones that I'm just not thinking of right now, but those are the prominent ones I remember. But Tina Fey, who wrote it and also produced it and acted in it, she said her and Tim Meadows, I guess Tim Meadows was in it also, will be appearing in the Mean Girls musical movie. Don't know if it's going to be the same character they played before, but they will be in the Mean Girls musical. Jenna Fisher from The Office has also been cast in the Mean Girls musical as well. And where's the last one? Busy Phillips will be joining the Mean Girls musical as well. So, interesting. Zero Day is the name of a TV series from Netflix. There's Netflix again. That we don't know much about. Don't know what the story's about, whatever. But we do know that it will star and is produced by Robert De Niro doing his first ever TV show. Yes, it's for streaming, but he'll be producing and starring in it. And also producing it will be Leslie Linka Gleater, which was one of the, I guess, the writer or producer of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the original movie, not the TV show. So that should be interesting to take a look at as well. The Fatal Attraction TV series on Paramount Plus starring Joshua Jackson and what's her name? I see it in my head, but I can't see it right now. I can't just say the guy's name because that wouldn't be fair. Joshua Jackson, who looks old, by the way, but he is getting old. Cast, there it is. And Lizzie Kaplan. Okay. Ooh, Amanda Pete's in it also. Ooh, I like Amanda Pete. Toby Huss is in it. Ooh, nice. Anyone else here? Dee Wallace is in it. Oh, wow. A bunch of people I don't know, but it is a TV series based on the Fatal Attraction movie starring Michael Douglas and Glenn Close. And it is, as you expect it was, Joshua Jackson plays a guy who, when his wife is away for the weekend, ends up cheating on his wife with a beautiful woman who ends up being a psychopath who wants to take over his life and ruin his life, whatever, one of these things. But they are doing a TV show of this, and the first trailer for it has come out. The Tudor trailer, may as well connect it. The Tudor trailer is a new movie starring Noah Schnapp from Stranger Things and Garrett Hedlund. It looks to me like one of these sort of single white female sort of things, but it's not quite like that. Basically, it's about a rich kid who seems to have some sort of learning disorder, played by Noah Schnapp, who is taught by a good old guy, good guy, Garrett Hedlund. He and his wife are expecting their first baby. He needs this job because he needs the money to take care of his family and the new baby coming, blah, blah. But the student he's tutoring, played by Noah Schnapp, is bizarre. He's got a learning disability, but he also becomes sort of obsessive, and the video just shows him, following the guy and watching him and intruding on his life and then hurts himself and then blames the tutor for doing it, so he gets into trouble. And blah. We've seen this story before, but the fact that Noah Schnapp is doing something other than Stranger Things makes it kind of an interesting sort of reason why I brought up. Now, speaking of Stranger Things, the new season doesn't start till 2024. They don't start filming it till later this summer. All the scripts are done, but they're going to start filming it this summer. But speaking of that, sorry, I just heard something. A stage in England is going to be premiering the first ever new story from the Stranger Things world on their stage. I guess it's a officially licensed story. It's a prequel, takes place in Hawkins in the 1950s, and sort of it's called The First Shadow. I guess sort of sets the stage for what's to come 30 years later in the 80s with the Stranger Things show. But they are doing a Broadway show, not Broadway, an English stage show of a prequel to Stranger Things, which I think is officially licensed. So that's kind of interesting to do that. Bebe Neuwirth, who I absolutely love, she was great as Lilith Crane, will be portraying Lilith Crane again in the new Frasier sequel series coming out. And it's not going to be a one-off sort of thing. She seems to be having a recurring role, maybe not necessarily a regular role, but she'll be having a recurring role on the show since it does deal with his relationship with their son. So it would make sense to have her there as well. She popped up in the original Frasier TV show as well a few times. So we'll spin off from that and continue on with that, see how that goes. And there's rumors that they might be getting back together, which would be great because they always were great together. So, it would make sense as kind of, because Frasier's now too old at this point to really just start dating younger women. So it makes sense to try to make amends with your ex-wife, mother of your child, to try and maybe rekindle some of that romance, because they never really lost the romance. In her appearances in the show, the Frasier show, still had them sort of showing a lot of love for each other, and they have great chemistry. So it's great to see her joining the cast, even if it's only in a recurring role, but at least it will be interesting to see. And it could be a regular role. I don't know if it is or not. They didn't really go into much detail about that. I mentioned the luscious Sydney Sweeney and her show Euphoria. HBO Max has also set up a new show called The Idol, which is supposed to be pushing the envelope even more than Euphoria does. So we'll see if that actually ends up being the case. Dune: The Sisterhood, the spinoff sort of the Dune movies, has lost its star Shirley Henderson and director Johan Renck. So that's always, when you lose the main star and one of the main directors, that's not a good sign for your show starting before you even start filming, stuff like that. Speaking of the Johan Renck, he will be directing. This could be the reason why he left. He will be directing a remake of the old sci-fi film Day of the Triffids, which is it's going to be done as a series now. So it's possible that he wasn't seeing eye to eye with sort of the Dune stuff and got offered this and decided he'd rather do this than Dune, and that's why he left. So it'd be funny if he cast Shirley Henderson in the Day of the Triffids. I don't think it's going to happen, but it'd be interesting to see that. Just me, maybe. Supercell trailer. Apparently there is a movie called Supercell that stars Alec Baldwin, Anne Heche in her last performance, and Skeet Ulrich. And it looks a lot sort of like a Twister-esque sort of movie, but not quite the same. So we'll see how that goes. But it looks like it was Anne Heche's last film before she passed away. Mrs. Davis is a trailer that stars Betty Gilpin, as a nun who has to stop an AI, which is a weird combination, but there you go, you have it. Netflix orders a comedy series starring Kristen Bell from The Good Place, for Steve Levitan, who was the producer for News Radio, which was a great show, and Aaron Foster. That's right, Aaron Foster, producer. So that should be interesting to that. I think I mentioned this, but it should be re-mentioned again. It's from Michigan. Churray for Churros, the new Ben & Jerry ice cream flavor, is now out and about. So you go ahead and grab that. China has invented a silicone device that simulates kissing that you can attach to your phone. I don't quite understand the reason for that, why you would do that, but okay, I guess. I guess if you're on the phone with your significant other, your partner, whatever, and you want to give them a kiss, you can simulate it, I guess. Rare multi-million Fabergé egg has been found on a Russian dignitary's super yacht. I don't know why I mentioned that, but I guess he owns it. So it's just kind of interesting to see maybe the story of how he get it, why he get it, and how much he paid for it, and how much he's going to make out of it. A tired parrot rests on an umpire's shoulders during a spring training game. I know parrots were prevalent down in Florida, but I guess they are. An interesting theory is making its way across Reddit, and the producer-writer of Ant-Man 3 is not nor believing it, saying that it's true or not true. He's sort of in the between, like, you're closer than you might think. Don't think it's the exact same thing, but there you go. But did Scott Lang, Ant-Man, at the end of Ant-Man 3, did he actually go back to his time, or did he and his family get transported to an alternate timeline? The point that they point out is that after they go back and you have the last scene at the end where Scott is having all these doubts that did we just kill the one thing that could stop this upcoming invasion? He's having this stuff like that, but then eventually he just says, nah, it's not like that. All the people he runs into apparently all have variations of the purple and green outfit of Kang, or their clothing is all this purple and green stuff. Honestly, I did not notice it. I need to see the movie again because it's a good movie. Go see Ant-Man 3. Ignore the stupid reviews and stuff like that. I talked about that a couple weeks ago. Ignore them. Go check out Ant-Man 3. I'll have to go back and check that again to see if that is the case. It's kind of interesting if that is indeed what it is. So could be very interesting. So anniversaries, Zodiac. Speaking of Marvel MCU sort of characters, we've got Mark Ruffalo, we got Robert Downey Jr., and we got Jake Gyllenhaal all starring together in Zodiac 16 years ago, directed by David Fincher, based on the Zodiac Killers. The Hunt for October, an absolute spot-on, superstar, fantastic adaptation of the Tom Clancy novel, starring Sean Connery and Alec Baldwin, is 33 years old. Also, Tim Curry's in it, as is Sam Neill, James Earl Jones, Jeffrey Jones, Robert Jordan, who's different than Richard Jordan. It is Richard Jordan, and not the guy from Cabin in the Woods, but the other one. I think that's Richard Jenkins anyway. Robert Jordan, Richard Jordan, who was the bad guy in Secret of My Success. He's great in Hunt for October as well. Donnie Brasco is 26 years old this week, directed by Barry Levinson, local guy, starring Johnny Depp and Al Pacino. So you got that going on this week as well. All right. I finished the Pina Colada soda. We'll never talk about it again. Excuse me. 2 more full pages. So at 111. So let's just say about another 30 minutes, probably. Maybe less than that, but we'll check it out here. Darren Aronofsky is one of those. He's an Academy Award-winning director for Black Swan. I believe he won for that. He's done a bunch of really crazy, outlandish sort of films. His first one he ever made is the movie Pi. A24, the independent company that produced Everything Everywhere All at Once, is flying high now, and they've bought the rights to re-release Darren Aronofsky's Pi for its 25th anniversary, which is coming up. It will be going to IMAX, actually. So Darren Aronofsky is overseeing an IMAX retooling of the movie. He's not remaking the movie. There's a way you do it. You send it through the computer and you expand it to IMAX by using what you've already filmed, that sort of thing. So that's going to be coming up in IMAX here very soon for its 25th anniversary. The cherry blossom trees in Washington, D.C. We've got our first word that the peak bloom with their best is going to be in 1 3-day period later on this month. So if you want to check out the cherry blossoms in all their glory, head down to Washington, D.C. between March 22nd and March 25th. I think that's like Wednesday through Friday. That's going to be the window where they're going to be their peak color. A man-made biological leaf that absorbs water and carbon dioxide and produces oxygen like plants has been created. So it can help create more oxygen when not growing more trees or getting it, instead of waiting for trees to grow really, really big, because it takes centuries for them to do that. You can start by helping clean up our environment by using that. So that's pretty good. Oh, Agent Elvis. That's what it was. Agent Elvis trailer. I might have to check this out. St. Patrick's Day is going to be lit on Netflix. Agent Elvis is an adult animated movie that stars the voices of Matthew McConaughey, Don Cheadle, Caitlin Olsen, Priscilla Presley, and a whole bunch more. They showed all Jason Sudeikis and all. They had a whole list of just all the guest stars that are going to come on. There's a ton of talent that's going to be involved with this. It is a new trailer basically where Matthew McConaughey plays Elvis Presley during the 50s and 60s, is tapped to do stuff for the government, like invading countries and attacking, buildings and stuff like that. He's got a gorilla who is coked up and likes prostitutes and stuff like that. It looks freaking hilarious. And it's Elvis Presley, and I cannot wait to watch it. It's a series on Netflix, animated series starting on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, which is a Friday. So I might have to definitely check this out. Just check out the trailer and see for yourself. It is freaking hilarious, and it looks really funny. Karan Suri, who was the taxi driver from the Deadpool movies, has been vocal cast, as Spider-Man India in Across the Spider-Verse animated film coming up. So we'll get to see our first look at Spider-Man India, which was an actual comic that came out a while ago, which is actually really nice looking. Actually, it's pretty cool. Cocaine Bear did a good job. I think it made $23 million this weekend for opening weekend. Yep, Cocaine Bear made $23 million for opening weekend, which was huge for it. Now we have Piano Player Bear. Bear breaks into a house and starts playing the piano, not like, hey, I'm playing Beethoven like that. He's just, but he's banging on the piano. So the video of that is kind of interesting about that as well. And also a 360,000-year-old extinct cave bear the DNA of a 360,000-year-old cave bear has been sequenced. So they know, I guess, how to create a 360,000-year-old bear if they need to, or how it was built and created, or the DNA that's up there. Now, apparently a potato chip company, and I didn't see this story, so it's not surprising, or a competition, whatever, had a competition for Valentine's Day that if they can find a heart-shaped potato chip in one of their bags, one of the bags that they buy from the grocery store, you could win $100,000. Well, apparently a woman did not know that she was supposed to be on the lookout for it and end up eating the heart-shaped potato chip. So she did not get the $100,000. It happens. Locally, the University of Maryland has named a building after Thurgood Marshall, which is really good. 54 feet of snow has fallen this winter on Mammoth Mountain out in California. That's a lot. 54 feet. I'm 6'5", so 9 times my size of snow. So here I'm 6 feet. Think 9 times the snow. It's bigger than my house, probably. It probably would cover my house. 54 feet of snow fell on Mammoth Mountain this winter. That's where all the snow was, because we didn't get jack or shit here in Maryland for like the 3rd year in a row, it seems like. What the hell did I write here? I've been lamenting the fact that I haven't seen a traveling version, or even back on Broadway, one of the greatest musicals that I've ever seen, Spamalot, the musical version of Monty Python the Holy Grail. It's outstanding. It's really, really clever. I got to see it when it was making the rounds, traveling, and it was on Broadway for a while. Tim Curry was in it. David Hyde Pierce was in it. They originated the roles of King Arthur and Patsy, I believe. Or Sir Lancelot, I should say, excuse me. Or Sir Gawain, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. But it hasn't been around for a while. The Hippodrome is one of the best venues here in Baltimore. Matter of fact, they're probably done by now, but Chris Rock did his stand-up live stream for Netflix from the Hippodrome today. And they've got a really good season coming up. But Spamalot hasn't been, I don't even know if, I guess it was, I think we saw it here. We saw it in DC with my sister and brother-in-law a long time ago, but I thought we saw it here also, but we might not have. Regardless, I haven't seen it for a while. I haven't been around, haven't seen it traveling, whatever. Well, now it's going to change. The Kennedy Center down in DC will be getting a very limited amount, 9-day version of Spamalot, which they had to rush into production because the original play they were going to run during that time, Kiss of the Spider Woman, got canceled. So they need to have somebody take its place, and Spamalot just happened to be, I guess, the easy one to replace. So there's something new coming from the Pokemon company called Pokemon Sleep. It's supposed to help you with your sleep cycles and somehow compare that with your Pokemon. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but okay. Crust is a new movie starring Alan Ruck, Felissa Rose, about a sock monster movie, horror film, sock monster. Okay, don't know much about that. A presumed extinct fungi-eating fairy lantern plant has been found emerging again in Japan. So a thought to be extinct tree plant sort of thing has been discovered again growing in a forest in Japan. So pretty cool. And he's fungi, whatever you want to call it. School kids in New Zealand have discovered a new species of giant penguins from the old times. I don't exactly know how to read the whole article, but that's kind of interesting. The Weeknd, Jenna Ortega, Barry Cohagen to star in a new film. Not much is known about it, but they have been cast in the film. And they're keeping that to the vest for a little bit, or whatever. Up Here is a Hulu musical series. Trailer came out with former child star Mae Whitman. And it's from the creators of Hamilton and the Book of Mormon. So they didn't say who it was. They said the director of Hamilton, so I'm assuming that's Lin-Manuel Miranda, and the writers of Book of Mormon, which I thought was Trey and what's his face, Trey and Matt. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like something that they would do. It's sort of like a Herman's Head sort of thing. So up there, Mae Whitman plays a woman who wants to be a writer, and she has 3 of the voices in her head are personified as people, and it's sort of like a Herman's Head sort of thing, but instead of them being in her head, he doesn't really pay much attention to them. She actually talks to these manifestations of the voices in her head. And then she falls in love with this guy who also has sort of the similar manifestations as well, but it is a musical show, something like that. I got to learn more about that, if it is in fact a Lin-Manuel Miranda thing and a Matt and Trey thing. I don't think it's a Matt and Trey thing. It might mean Mark Scheinman, who was the writer of the music, might be doing the music for this. And so the director of Hamilton doesn't necessarily mean that Lin-Manuel Miranda was the director of it, but we'll see. I thought he was, but I will take a look. Actually, let me see if it's on Wikipedia here. See if it has up there. TV series. Okay. Up there's upcoming musical romantic comedy television series developed by Stephen Levinson, Kristen Anderson Lopez, Robert Lopez, and Danielle Sanchez Witzel. I mean, they said it was people who dealt with Hamilton and Book of Mormon. I guess they might have stuff to do with it. But I guess it's not exactly what we think it is. But there you go. Due out at the end of the month, March 24th, actually. Jello jelly beans just in time for Easter. Star-Kissed are the best ones, actually. Star-Kissed, Sun-Kissed, Starburst, whatever. Starburst jelly beans. That's what it is. They're the best ones out there. My wife and family love those, and they're actually pretty good. But now we have Jello jelly beans. I don't know what they would taste like because Jello really doesn't have a taste. So I doubt it's gelatin jelly beans. So we'll see. But yeah, they're out there just in time for Easter there. Brooke Shields, Benjamin Bratt, and Miranda Cosgrove to star in Mother of the Bride, a Netflix rom-com. Again, Netflix is making all kinds of movies and deals. It seems like it's going to be sort of a reverse of the Father of the Bride stuff, but instead it's going to be the Mother of the Bride. It's going to be the Bridezilla sort of, not the Bridezilla, but the horror show sort of thing. Rare Objects trailer with Katie Holmes and Alan Cumming came out. Didn't really pay much attention to that because it didn't really draw my interest all that much. Musical version of Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil is getting ready to get produced and created. It's a book, then was a movie, and now it's a musical. So that makes this a logical progression as it were. A Filipino fisherman has caught a 270-kilogram blue marlin, which is bigger than an anglerfish. And Dunkin' has some new flavors for their iced coffee bottles you can get at the grocery stores. They have their typical ones there, but now they have new ones. They've got brownie batter, cake batter, and coffee cake flavored of these ice cold coffee drinks that are in bottles similar to this. You can get at your grocery store. This sounds like an absolutely fantastic idea. Zachary Quinto of Heroes and Star Trek fame is going, and also was part of the American Horror Story, is going to be the lead in a new medical drama pilot that needs to get picked up. They're going to make the pilot first, and it should get picked up because it's got Zachary Quinto in it, and then the pedigree behind the scenes. We've got Greg Berlanti, who is the guy that created the CW superhero things and has done really well. And Andy Serkis, yes, got him, are producing this medical drama called Wolf to star Zachary Quinto. Zachary Quinto is a great actor. To have Greg Berlanti and Andy Serkis behind the scenes. Greg Berlanti is a good writer as well as producer, and he's a good director too. And then Andy Serkis has strutted his stuff a little bit with his directing, and he might have a recurring role in the show, whatever, but it'd be interesting to see what he can do with it. So that should be kind of interesting. So hopefully that should be picked up for a series, but we'll find out. This is kind of interesting. Anniversaries. Pretty in Pink, 37 years ago this week. John Hughes wrote it, but did not direct it. Instead, the director was the guy who ended up marrying Leah Thompson. God, I used to know this guy's name. Pretty in Pink. There it is. Howard Deutsch. Yep, Howard Deutsch. Was the director of that. And it stars John Cryer, Molly Ringwald, Andrew McCarthy, James Spader. And it was, I think, the final film in the Ringwald Hughes stuff. Hughes didn't direct it, but at that time, Hughes was knocking heads with his muse, Molly Ringwald, who'd been in two of his previous films that had done really, really well. And he thought he had a good relationship with her. And in fact, the one story is that he was trying to find a title for the movie, and she was listening to a song by the Psychedelic Furs called Pretty in Pink. She liked it, suggested it to John Hughes. He got the rights to the name, and he named it Pretty in Pink, and they added the song to the movie. But the basic premise is poor girl falls in love with a rich guy played by Andrew McCarthy, but he treats her like dirt, and her best friend is played by John Cryer, who is like the perfect guy for her, who's in love with her. So like Annie Potts is in it also. James Spader plays James Spader, asshole that he did in the 80s, and Annie Potts is sort of that friend-like thing. Originally, Hughes the writer wanted to have Molly Ringwald's character end up with John Cryer's nerdy, geeky sort of character and not with the rich boy. But at the time, I think Molly Ringwald was dating Andrew McCarthy, plus both Andrew McCarthy and Molly Ringwald disliked John Cryer for whatever reason. I don't know why, because he seems to be like a good enough guy. I read his memoir. It was kind of interesting to hear that. And Andrew McCarthy sort of mentioned it also in one of his memoirs too. And so they shot it with her getting or staying with John Cryer's character, and they ran a test screening of it, and the testers hated it. They hated the ending. They thought she should be with Andrew McCarthy. So John Hughes reluctantly had Howard Deutsch reshoot the ending to have her end up with Andrew McCarthy, and the rest is history. But it left sort of a bad taste in John Hughes's mouth. So right after he made Pretty in Pink, he wrote another movie and got Howie Deutsch to direct it. This one with Leah Thompson, Eric Stoltz, and I forget who the other one is. Some Kind of Wonderful, which is basically the same premise as Pretty in Pink, just the sexes are reversed. It's a male who's poor, the female who's rich, and the best friend, Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, maybe, or Mary. God, it's gonna kill me if I don't do this one as well. But in response to Eric Stoltz, Mary Stuart Masterson, Leah Thompson, Craig Sheffer, Elias Codius, Molly Hagan, John Ashton, Candace Cameron, Brew, China Phillips, Pamela Anderson, Lee Garlington. Anyone else? I'm messing up. In response to how the people responded to his Pretty in Pink ending, he wrote Some Kind of Wonderful, and he had more control over it. So he made sure that the poor guy would end up with the geeky best friend and not the rich girlfriend. And it was successful also. So who knows? But that came out 36 years ago, came out literally a year later after Pretty in Pink, and did maybe not as well because a lot of people don't know as much about Some Kind of Wonderful, but Hughes did write it and Howard Deutsch did direct it. And it is basically his response to Pretty in Pink. It's not as famous as the other ones because it doesn't have the Molly Ringwald, stuff like that, but it still did pretty good from what I recall. The Cranberries' debut album came out in 1993. Really? Oh my God. That's 30 years ago. What? Lingers that old? Oh well. But yeah, their debut album. Yeah, it had to be because in the Alicia Silverstone Clueless movie, the one guy in 95, he says, "Damn, I left my Cranberry CD." And yeah, so okay, so yeah, that makes 30 years ago their debut album came out. 40 years ago this week, the final episode of MASH was aired. It is still no one has beaten its television ratings. So there you go. 1987, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors, which took the horror series into a new level where you got a team of people to take on Freddy Krueger and sort of gave it a little bit of jolt of life, came out this week as well. Some deaths this week. Former Virginia basketball head coach Terry Holbert died this week. Riku Browning, the actor who played the Gill Man from the original Creatures of the Black Lagoon, died at the age of 93 this week. Mayun Kurosaki, an up-and-coming rising anime singer, died at the age of 35 this week. And I think that's all for the deaths for this week. All right. All right, got about 10 minutes to finish this up because I said it would take me about half an hour from when I said it before, which makes it actually takes me about 8 minutes. Probably be a little bit, I think we're looking at an hour and 45 minutes. So we'll see about that. So we'll do the anniversaries and go back with that way. 30 years also, we have Falling Down, the Michael Douglas movie directed by Joel Schumacher, where a guy just loses himself in Los Angeles traffic and has a gun and goes around and just starts attacking stuff and making a stand and stuff like that to go see his daughter. It's a lot more to it than that, but it's an intriguing sort of film. Haven't seen it in a while, but it is an intriguing film. Also 30 years ago this week, El Mariachi made its debut, which is Robert Rodriguez's debut film. He wrote a whole memoir about the making of that. Basically, I forget what it was called, but it was the book was cut in half. It was a memoir, and then it was also his film school. Basically, he made this movie for like $5,000, $8,000, something like that. Most of which he got while doing a 30-day drug program where you take these drugs and you sit in this place for 30 days and you take drugs every day and they monitor you and stuff like that. But you have, a bed and exercise. Stuff like that. You're not in prison or anything like that. And this is a way to make money, but they need to have these test subjects. And he needed the money to make this movie. So he had 30 days to kill. And so during this time when he had a lot of free time, he basically made the movie. He had written the script and now he laid it out and figured how he was going to do the shots during this whole period thing. Then he made the film for this very small budget, was fairly successful, and spawned off a couple of sequels and started his career off. And Robert Rodriguez shares my birthday, June 20th, so you gotta love that. So that's 30 years ago this week. Grand Teton National Park debuted opened in 1929. So 29, 39, 49, 59, 69, 79, 89, 99, 2009, 2019, 94 years ago. So next year's the 95th anniversary of Grand Teton. So 94 years ago this year, Grand Teton was brought to the forefront. Another one of my favorite movies, Dark City, debuted this week as well, 25 years ago. Roger Ebert called it one of the best movies of the year, which is interesting. But it's a great movie. So that's all your anniversaries there. The only death we have is Anthony Ciccone, who is Madonna's older brother. He died at the age of 66 this week as well. The Ted Lasso Season 3 trailer popped up this week. I'm not a Ted Lasso fan, but if you are, there you go. The Mafia Mama trailer with Toni Collette and Monica Bellucci is actually a comedy film. It's not the serious Mafia Mom movie we got coming up soon. But that trailer came out this week as well. Super Mario Brothers, the animated film, has moved up 2 days from Good Friday, which was April 7th, to April 5th. That's Good Friday, right? Yes. So they can take advantage of the spring break and stuff like that. So it should make some good money. That makes it a Wednesday debut instead of a Friday debut. Trailer for the Disney Plus film Peter Pan and Wendy, the live action version of it, due out on April 28th, debuted this week. I'm not a big fan of Peter Pan, so I didn't really pay much attention to it as well. After 7 years, Tom Hiddleston is returning to do season 2 of the TV show The Night Manager, right? Hold on a second. The Night Manager at Amazon, based on a John le Carré spy novel. The first season was fairly successful and then disappeared for 7 years. And now they are coming back with a second season. That's just my shadow. Freaked me out. With the second season. So good on that. All right, let's see. Ian Fleming's James Bond novels are being revised. That was something that they're doing with some Dr. Seuss books, right? No, Roald Dahl books is what they're doing. So now they're kind of doing something similar with the James Bond books. So that's kind of weird. Kiss's Paul Staley was videotaped walking through a Nordstrom's here in Maryland. The only one I know of is one up in Towson. So we might have had a Kiss sighting earlier this week. Washington, D.C. makes buses free for all, so you do not have to pay a fare anymore to take a bus in Washington, D.C. You can take the bus for free. A hippo takes a walk in South Africa, St. Lucia, South Africa, and visits a gas station. Interesting. The Power poster comes out March 31st. I think the trailer came out last week. It's a show about, is it Netflix or it's Amazon, about women who have the power to electrocute people. So there you go. World's largest bee thought to be extinct has been found in Indonesia. So we've had all kinds of extinct stuff coming back to life here. Amazon has not Amazon, AMC movie theaters has announced that they will be selling exclusively in Walmart's microwave popcorn versions of their popular popcorn at their movie theaters. So if you like the AMC movie theater popcorn, you will be able to get officially sanctioned AMC popcorn, but only at Walmart. Microwave popcorn only at Walmart. Russ Marquand joins Jackie Earl Haley in a new crime thriller. Hershey's releasing a new Hershey's Kiss called Milkalicious. Twix cookie dough ice cream is coming out here as well. The Very Hungry Caterpillar is getting its own off-Broadway show. It debuted earlier this week. Arnold Schwarzenegger is joining the world of streaming. Again, another Netflix thing. He's got a new show on Netflix called Fubar, due out May 25th. The teaser for that came out. Looks like it's going to be an action comedy because there's one scene where this older lady punches him in the balls. So it's kind of funny. Netflix is also doing a new animated Ghostbusters cartoon, so that'll be coming out here really soon. The Last Voyage of the Demeter is a horror Dracula film coming out soon. Now, for those who don't know, if you read Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Demeter was a ship that took Vlad Dracul across the waves. I don't know if it was to America, maybe it was to America, I don't know, to find his bride. And he would attack people on board this boat. And by the time that the boat landed where it's supposed to, there was nobody on board except for these coffins and stuff like that. So nobody knew what was going on with that. So we're going to get a movie version of that. Last week, I announced that Eric Stone Street from Modern Family will be joining the cast of season 2's Santa Clauses. Well, we also have stand-up comedian Gabriel Iglesias will also be joining the cast of the Santa Clauses season 2 as well. Ashley Park is joining the cast of season 3 of Only Murders in the Building. It's got a stacked cast so far. It keeps getting better and better. A tech company doesn't want you to work late or work all the time. They want you to go home and live your life. So when your shift is over and you're working on the computer, they will have a sign that comes on the computer that says, you need to go home. We're going to shut down the computers in about 10 minutes. So you got 10 minutes to get yourself, into a good place. And then you need to go home and you need to live your life. Okay. And then come back the next day. I like that idea because I don't think you should be forced to work more than you want to. If the company doesn't care that they don't prefer you to work late, that if you don't get everything done in one day and they want you to stay late, then you should do what they say and go out and live your life. And a lot of people should be enjoying that a little bit more. A bluefish tuna just sold for $3 million in Japan. What is going on? $1.4 million for a racing pigeon and $3 million for a bluefish tuna. That's crazy. Oh yeah, we'll do that. The Pokemon Concierge is a Netflix stop-motion animated series that'll be coming up really soon. That's going to be following Pokemon and their trainers at a deluxe island resort. So it'll be a stop-motion, not quite your typical Pokemon animated movie, but it will be kind of a neat little stop-motion thing, and you'll be able to see all the different Pokemon and stuff like that, and it'll be self-contained sort of thing. And it's going to be like a fantasy island, but for Pokemon and their trainers. That's kind of cool. Real quick, I got one more awards thing here, and then we'll have our final story of the day, and then we will get the hell out of Dodge. The Producers Guild Awards were this week. And let's get let's see if Deadline has their. All right. Again, this was TV and movies. Okay. The Daryl F. Zanuck Award for Outstanding Producer of Theatrical Motion Pictures. The winner was Everything Everywhere All at Once. Award for Outstanding Producer of Animated Theatrical Motion Picture was Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, another dead cert. The Norman Felton Award for Outstanding Producer of Episodic Television Drama is The White Lotus. The Danny Thomas Award for Outstanding Producer of Episodic Television Comedy was The Bear. David L. Wolper Award for Outstanding Producer of Limited or Anthology Series Television, The Dropout. Award for Outstanding Producer of Televised or Streamed Motion Pictures, Weird, The Al Yankovic Story. Award for Outstanding Producer of Nonfiction Television, Stanley Tucci, Searching for Italy. Yeah, Stanley Tucci. Award for Outstanding Producer of Live Entertainment, Variety Sketch, Stand-Up, and Talk Television, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Award for Outstanding Producer of Game and Competition Television, Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls. The award for Outstanding Producer of Documentary Motion Picture, Navalny. The award for Outstanding Sports Program, Tony Hawk Until the Wheels Fall Off. The award for Outstanding Children's Program, Sesame Street Season 52. PGA Innovation Award, Stay Alive, My Son. The award for Outstanding Short Form Program, Only Murders in the Building, One Killer Question, Season 2. Honorary awards, the David O. Selznick Achievement Award went to Tom Cruise. The Stanley Kramer Award went to Till. The Milestone Award went to Michael DeLuca and Pam Abbey. The Norman Lear Achievement Award went to Mindy Kaling. And the Vance Van Petten Entrepreneurial Spirit Award went to Lena Waithe. So that's your Producer Guild Awards. So Everything Everywhere All at Once is winning big again. Weird. The Al Yankovic thing has been making some noise, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool about that. Finally, the last story, and this is something I wish we would have thought of when I went to college, because this sounds like an outstanding drink, alcoholic beverage to drink at college that will supposedly not give you a hangover and taste pretty good. Basically, you get an empty gallon milk carton. You fill half of it with water, half of it with vodka. You throw in caffeinated flavor enhancer. You get those at the grocery store. You get the squirt kinds or the powder, whatever. A dash of powdered electrolytes. Shake it up all together, and you get yourself a hangover-proof party drink by the name of Borg's. Sounds amazing. Half water, half vodka, caffeinated flavor enhancer, dash of powdered electrolytes. You mix it all together. You got yourself a nice little drink there. And the caffeinated flavor enhancer has multiple flavors. You just got to find the right one. I know there's like a black cherry one that Mio does. I think there's an orange and cream one that Mio does also. That might be vitamins, maybe not caffeinated, but I know there's some out there that could be pretty good. You just got to find them. And then the electrolyte powdered ones could be really interesting. So that's really a neat idea. Borg's. So if you're looking to make some hangover-free alcohol, use that recipe for the Borg's. Okay, so next week, Oscar picks. We have 2 episodes coming next week. We have our Oscar picks and we have a regular show. Haven't decided what I'm going to do. My plan is I want to do maybe the Oscar picks Saturday afternoon, my regular show Saturday night like I usually do, and leave Sunday open because we are turning the clocks ahead 1 hour next Sunday. So we lose an hour of sleep. And then the Oscars will be on next Sunday as well. So we'll see about that. So we'll see what happens about that. We'll also get the NCAA tournament seedings next Sunday. So we won't have it for this week's episode coming up, but we'll have it for next week's if you're interested. I think that's it. And it's just about 1 o'clock. So 1 hour, 48 minutes, pretty good. And no mice sightings. So I'll clean up the dead mouse in a little bit. It says not stinking right now. And it's using it as a sign to say stay away. And I hope I go upstairs for a little bit. I don't hear any shit because I really don't feel like dealing with them right now. Hopefully I won't have to deal with them anymore. But that's all I got. All right. I'm going to go decompress for a little bit. I'll see you guys next weekend. I'm going to dinner at my in-laws' house tomorrow. So my day pretty much is shot tomorrow. So we'll see. All right, y'all. Check you later. Get your Oscar picks ready. We're going to run them next weekend. And also, we lose an hour, but the sun starts coming out till 6, 7 o'clock at night. Ciao, baby.